Atlantis was not a myth. It was a global civilization for thousands of years. Atlantis has been treated as a story, an island, a myth, a cautionary tale. But what if that framing is the mistake? What if Atlantis was never meant to be understood as a place on a map, but as a planetary civilization? Tonight, we are not exploring speculation. Atlantis was global, and before Atlantis, there was Lemuria. Most people encounter Atlantis through a single lens, an island that sank. But that interpretation assumes ancient knowledge was recorded literally. The materials you've uploaded argue the opposite. Ancient civilizations compressed vast histories into symbols, not to deceive, but to preserve meaning across ages of decline. In that context, island does not mean geography. It means isolation. A civilization cut off in time. Once that assumption changes, the entire Atlantis narrative changes with it. Section 2. Lemuria. The first civilization, according to the material, Lemuria, also called preceded Atlantis. Not technologically advanced in a mechanical sense, but highly developed spiritually. Earth's geography was different then. Land masses existed, where oceans now dominate. Humanity did not begin in ignorance and slowly climb upward. Humanity began closer to awareness and over time descended into limitation. Lemuria declined not through war or catastrophe, but through gradual loss of coherence, a weakening of collective alignment. When Lemuria fell, its knowledge did not vanish. It migrated. Section 3. Atlantis. A planetary system, Atlantis was not a successor kingdom. It was a second cycle. Where Lemuria emphasized unity, Atlantis emphasized application. Energy. Frequency. Consciousness interacting with matter. This is critical. Atlantean technology was not powered by combustion or machinery, but by understanding of reality itself. That is why Atlantis is described as global. Not because one empire ruled the world, but because one system of knowledge did. Section 4. How civilizations actually fall. The materials are explicit on this point. Civilizations do not collapse physically first. They collapse internally. Misuse of knowledge, erosion of responsibility, separation between capability and wisdom. By the time floods, earthquakes, or climate shifts occur, the fall has already happened. Atlantis did not fall in a day. Section 5. Egypt was never the beginning. Fully formed. Architecturally precise, symbolically dense. The materials explain why. Egypt was not an origin civilization. Atlantean knowledge, now too dangerous to wield openly, was encoded into stone, geometry, myth, and ritual. Pyramids were not tombs. They were instruction manuals, written in a language of proportion and frequency. Section 6. Why? The knowledge was sealed. This is the part many people misunderstand. The sealing of knowledge was not a conspiracy. It was a safeguard. According to the texts, humanity repeatedly proves capable of discovery before it proves capable of restraint. Knowledge was not destroyed. It was put to sleep. Not forever. Chess until the cycle turned again. Conclusion: why this matters now. Then history is not a straight line. It is a loop. And if we are rediscovering fragments of that knowledge now, the real question is, what happens if humanity remembers too soon or too late? In the next episode, we will examine what Atlantean knowledge actually was, how it interacted with human consciousness, and why ancient Egypt preserved it in silence rather than explanation.